now we need to work on, or how to work or get our commands and everything. I will even provide you notes for that, so that you will be able to practice more clearly and everything. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on, right? Our next thing is like directories. Here, if you see, Shashi, the first thing is just to see this Linux screen, okay? Don't see anything else. So first of all, if you see a small symbol here, right? That symbol is called tilt. You can see it here in beside one in your most of the times in your keyboard. Okay, this tilt means that is in home page. Okay, tilt means home. Okay, that means home directory. You are currently in home directory. See, currently I have typed a command called pwd, means present working directory. The command name is, whenever you are stuck somewhere and you don't know which directory you are in, even though you went to there, so at that point you need to type a command called pwd, present working directory. Then if you see here, it is telling like you are in home, and what is your username? EC2 user. You got it? So whenever you see this tilt, that means you are in home page. Okay. So currently what I need to do is, first of all, here I am a EC2 user. There is a command called sudo space hyphen. Sudo means super user. Okay. So I'm telling you like I am giving high permissions. So when I type this, I will become a root user. So here I can access everything and I can check everything. So the command, the super user command is sudo space su space hyphen. Here UC2 user has some restrictions, but root user, as we discussed, just like how administrative user have access. So when you give the sudo space su space hyphen, then you will become a root user. So now I am a root user, but still I am in the home directory. See, if I type again pwd, and currently I am in root. Sorry, I am a home directory. I am in the root folder. The next thing is, I want to go to root directory. Everything will be in the root. How there will be like drives, you know, right? Like C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, G drive. How we will have it in the operation. But all those drives, you will see it in a something called my computer or something. This PC. In this PC only, right? You will see like overdrive, sorry, C drive, E drive, D drive, E drive. Similarly, how this PC works in Windows, similarly we have this root directory in Linux. So CD means change directory. Whenever you want to navigate to any one of the directory, what you can do is you can just click CD and you can give the directory name. Here directory is slash, that means root. Tilt means home and slash means root. Remember this. Tilt means home, and I think this is forward slash. Forward slash equal to root. Okay. So next, again, the next command is ls. Ls means list. So I am telling like whatever the folders you have or directories you have, list them out. I am telling it to that. Okay. So when I give this ls command, it is going to list all the commands in this particular root directory. Okay. So these are the basic. First of all, you need to know the pwd, which means present working directory. It will tell you in which directory you are currently in. Once you got to know like which directory you are currently in, the second thing which you can do it out is, you need to understand in which location you are in, that is either in home directory or either in root directory. And you also need to check out if you are a which user, normal user, or if you are a super user. If you are a normal user, what you can do is you can enter this sudo space su space hyphen command, so that you will become a root user. Once you become a root user, you can give the ls again. Now you are in the root directory. Once you give the list command, it will tell you like what are all the directories it is part of. And if you want more detailed information like what it has, you can even type like ls hyphen ltr. See, it will tell you like at what time it created, at what time it have it, and if it is the there and is permissions. And one more thing you can check it out is like if you want to see the hidden directories, then you can give some command called ls-ltra. So it will give and tell you like what are all the hidden directories that sometimes present in a particular directory or file. Okay, now if you see my entire system is messy, so if I want to clear the screen, I need to enter the command called clear. Okay, for listing ls we have ls-ltr we have. For more detailed listing, we also have ls-ltra. Okay, and if you want to clear the screen, you can click on enter clear. Okay, now we are discussing all these things. So now we need to understand, here we have some certain directories, right? So these certain directories may increase in some Linux systems, may decrease in some Linux systems, but you will see these directories as common in most of the Linux systems. But first thing you need to understand is what of this each directory does. Okay, so the first thing is, I will make it go through the, yeah. So first directory is where. Okay, if you see here, you will see a directory called where. See the last one. Let us go to that. How to go into a directory? Cd where. Okay, cd/where. That means I am in the where directory. Now let us check if it has any files or folders. See, yes, it has. Okay, see, it has the directories. That is again where has some DB, cache, account, games, FTP, library, local, log folders, so and so. Okay. Similarly here, let us go back again in the where. So what this where folder contains? What where contains is, you will be able to see the all the logs, all the databases, tools, and everything. That means, let us say you have an application in particularly launched on this server. Let us think this particular server is a web server and you have an application running it. So whenever the application is running it, right, let us say it generates the log. So whenever it generates the log, that continuous logs or some continuous information which is not about to be printed, that gets showed in this pool directory. Okay, but if there is some log information, let us say whatever that is happening in the application that you want to troubleshoot, that you want to know, so you need to go to the cd directory where log. Okay, here you will see all the log files. Okay, so here you can go and you can check the access logs or error logs and everything. Okay, I am telling it again, for any application, if you want to troubleshoot and if you want to check the logs and if you want to know what is happening, the database logs or the information that are not yet printed out, so all the things to check the logs, everything, the first thing you need to come is where folder or where directory. Okay, so this was the main important of this where directory. And now you are in which position, so you can again check pwd, and now you are in where directory. In the where directory you are in log directory. Okay, but you need to go into the root directory again. So at that point of time, you can again just simply give cd space slash. That means you are again in the root directory. Okay, or else you can do one more thing, cd where log, uh, let us say slash. Okay, so now currently I am in cd where log. Rather than going into the direct cd to root directory, what I want to do is I just need to go one step back. Now I am currently in log4 directory, but I just want to go one step back. Then what you can do, just enter cd space dot dot. Okay, so as you see here, I came back again from the log directory. You got it? If you want to go from two steps, so simply what, currently I am in log directory, but I want to go into the root directory. So what I can do is simply I can give cd dot dot slash dot dot. That means I am telling it to go two times back. Okay, so I came back to root directory. I came back from log directory. I came back from where directory, and I came back to log root directory. Okay, so whenever if you want to go one step back, you can give two dots, and if you want to go two steps back, you can give dot dot. separating by a slash. And if you want to go 3 steps back, then you can give again, you can add one more slash and 2 more dots. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah, good. The next thing is binaries. Okay, so if you see here, you have an option here called uh, bin folder / bin directory. Let us say I'm currently in the root directory. So here you will see something called bin, sorry, cd bin. Okay, so in bin, if you see here, you have a lot of files and lot of directories. Okay, mount, df, dir, join, so and so. So all these systems or software, right, it is mostly usable for running of your software system, this operating system that needs to progress, right, or to operate. So this bin folder is necessary. These commands or all the commands or compilings, everything whichever that was compiled in this bin folder, it is necessary for the running of this entire operating system. You won't do much here, but just to, it is better to know what bin does and what bin contains. Okay, so let us go back again, cd dot dot. I am again into root folder. I am clearing it, and again I am looking out what are all the other directories we have. And the next thing is boot. Okay, here if you see, we have some certain directory called the boot directory. So system will reboot, right? The system will reboot, right? For the rebooting or all the configuration or the kernel configuration, you can get everything under the boot. So I'm just going into the boot and I'm entering the ls, and if you see, these are some of the system boot configurations. So boot directory contains the boot configurations or sometimes the kernel or information. Next, again I am going one time back. Next I am checking out another directory. Let us take out dev. We have dev. Again I am going into the dev directory. So here dev means not development files or anything. It is just the you know, right, we have the drives, disk drives and everything, partitions, input or output, sda. Most of the times you will see these partitions actually. So what are all the disk partitions, drive partitions and everything, so you will be able to find it out in the device. You even won't do much even when you go into the practical sessions in the device drive also, but it is necessary to understand it contains some virtual or the physical devices or the disk drives. If you input or something, all that information will be stored in the devices and you can find it out in the devices directory. Next is etc, the most important after the var directory. How we have we just discussed where and how you can find out all the log folders, pool or the database logs and all the information. And it is very, how it is very crucial for the application troubleshooting. Similar to where we have etc. etc is one of the most crucial directory in the entire Linux file directory system. So what we have it in the etc. So in the etc, right, you will have the entire configuration files. Let us say you want to configure some application, okay, or that controls, if you want to do some automations or if you want to write some shell files or scripting files or something else out. So all this you will store it out in your configuration file here. So whenever if you want to see if there is any fault in your code or if you want to see if there is any fault in the configuration which you have done for the application, you will come to this etc directory, you will check with that relevant name, and from there you will start your troubleshooting. Okay, where will have the logs, use it for the troubleshooting, and etc will have the configuration of that particular application. Is that clear? You need to blindly remember this etc and log files what it does, sorry, etc and where directory what it does.
Okay.
Okay, so again I am going one step back, and the next thing we have is like again ls after etc. After etc we have the home directory. We already told you, right? Home, if you go into the home, cd home ls. So what you are seeing in cd home, ECT user. If you remember, if I click on the cd tilt, now I am tilt. So here, right, home is where all your users will be available. That means without home, uh, that means let us say you have a single user, but what we discussed, one of the most important feature of the Linux is multiple users can work on a single Linux system. So if you even create a user, let us say user add Hussein. Okay, I am even here. CD home ls. So if you can see the details of the Hussein here in home, that means all the users whoever created, that will be in the user directory. And one more thing you should always remember is there is one thing which we are pointing out particularly. Let us say we are again going into home, ls and to space hyphen space. Currently I am a root user. If I want to switch as a EC2 user, what I can do is this. Means you can give the space hyphen and then you can give the username. Then you will log in again as your user account. So currently again I am in the home directory. Okay. If I enter this, I can see like yeah. Anyway, tilt is home. So this is who user directory. Again, let us come back into sudo space hyphen. So there is, let us go to home again. Sorry, this is, we are in the home. Tilt is home. So let us again ls space hyphen ltra. Here, if you see, there is one option called .ssh. So we discussed regarding key pair, right? Key pair is what? You will have the private access with you. I mean the private key .ssh key, which we already have it here. Okay, test one lab, which we are able to use it and we are able to authenticate it. But we told you one thing: public key will be stored in the system, right? So when the public key and the private key matches, then you are able to log into the system. So how it is happening? So that public key will be stored in this .ssh folder. Remember this. So whenever if you want to give a access to the user, right, newly created user, I will tell you one practical class maybe by the end of the Linux. That will be very helpful for you, like what you can do in a normal organization, how it is done. Okay. So what that will happen, when you go into the cd.ssh folder, which is in the home directory. Okay. I'm just entering the ls. And if you see in .ssh, you have something called authorized key. There is a command called cat, which is used for you to see what information is contained in that particular file or any file. If you want to see any information in a file, you can just give a command called cat in front of that file. Okay. So immediately it will show you what is there. So automatically you have the public key here, and you public key is stored in the system here in the authorized key, which is in the .ssh, which is in the home directory of the root. In root, we have the .ssh directory. In the .ssh directory, you have a file name authorized keys. In that, you will have the public key stored in it. If anyone asks you where is your public key stored, you can immediately tell them we have a authorized key file which is stored in the .ssh directory that you can direct in the home directory of the root user. And private key will be always with you. So whenever the private key matches with the public key, so that is when you are able to access this entire Linux system. Clear
Okay.
or any doubts on that? Very important. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
understand what this public key particularly does, where it is stored, and how you use the private key.